Hello, everyone. This is Scott Roberts, and I've got Kent Martz here with me. And we haven't been on live together. It's been a long time since we've been on live together. But we wanted to talk about some things that are coming up here at Explore Scientific. And Kent is soon to be on his way to the Nebraska Star Party. Kent, what can we expect this time? It's their 30th anniversary. They last year were given the International Dark Sky Places Award for Merit Reservoir, which is where they host the event. What can you tell us?
Well, Scott, it's dark there.
It's
And
dark. That's right.
it's dark there, and it's extremely dark there in the eastern United States, other than maybe the the North Woods of Maine. It's probably the closest really dark site park in the central United States
Right.
from environments east. It's so dark, and Scott, I know you've seen this before. It's so dark you can see your shadow cast by the light of the Milky Way,
That's right.
which sounds like pretty deep stuff.
A lot of people don't believe that, though. They go, "No, the Milky Way can't cast a shadow."
So I'm going to get a picture of it this year. Try to get
Okay.
a shadow of a hand on a white trailer. It's a diffuse shadow, but you can amazing what you can see when you let your eye adjust,
Right.
and there's no white light anywhere.
Right.
This is a location out in the Nebraska Sandhills. Got a beautiful lake with fish close by. You're up on top of a big sand dunes with some grass on it, and there's little small cactus and some tiny sandburrs. Don't
Yeah.
wear open-toed shoes. You will pay the price very quickly. But it's hot and
Michael Peoples is watching the program with us and booked
hi,
in.
Michael.
Hey guys, Michael says that it has tons of mosquitoes and
Have
killed
not.
mosquitoes.
I have
What's
not.
your experience?
I
You went
must be.
last year, right?
I went last year, and I was there in the late '90s and early 2000s for 4 times or 5 times, something like that. Can't remember, but it's I've never had a problem with the mosquitoes in like any place in the United States with really wet seasons.
Yeah.
If it's wet, you're going to have mosquitoes. But the sand hills tend to absorb all the water pretty quickly. There's not any really water courses or creeks. The Niobrara River is what makes the reservoir. And if you're down along some of the coves, I suppose there would be some mosquitoes. But I've never personally had a problem with
I
mosquitoes.
have. I mean, a long, long time ago, the first time I went to Nebraska Star Party, I was eaten alive by mosquitoes. Okay, wasn't ready for it. Didn't bring any kind of repellent or anything like that. The last couple of times I've gone, no mosquitoes. At least it wasn't bothering me. I didn't have like bites later or anything.
Right.
There might have been some. So,
Well,
yeah, if you
my
got killer dew, though, I think that would be a tip that there's going to be a lot of mosquitoes.
my wife, who can't go outside without attracting a host of mosquitoes, she apparently is perfect mosquito bait. Did not have any mosquito bites last year.
Right.
So the weather forecast, I haven't looked it up yet. Let me look it up while I'm talking. It's a beautiful area. It's dark because there's nothing out there. One of the things to get the National Dark Sky Park Award was they had to change all the lights on the dam, which
Yeah.
required all sorts of agency approval, and so they put all of those lights as down lights, and that was the major part of the project. You can see a light dome from Valentine, which is like
Oh,
35
but it's
miles. Valentine's a town of 2,000 people, and it's a little light bubble.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the closest town of any size is North Platte, Nebraska, which is 90 miles due south. And there's a couple little towns of 75 and 100 people with 18 stoplights, Mullen being the biggest. And there's literally no lights out there, and it
Yeah.
is dark.
It's really dark. Yeah. I mean,
So
it's so cool to see the stars go down and set on one horizon and watching them rise
yes,
on the other. Yeah.
yes, horizon to horizon. Sitting here looking at the 10-day forecast for Valentine. It's going to be clear effectively all next week. Partly cloudy a few days, but highs in the high to mid 80s and low on Thursday night of 58 degrees. So it looks like it's going to be great weather. And if in fact it is clear, typically up there, my experience has been
Hmm.
the best. And in talking to people like John Johnson, who's one of the organizers,
Sure.
the hotter it is, the clearer it is, for whatever reason. Last year, and I didn't have time to get prepared for this. Last year, I saw at Nebraska one of the prettiest sunsets I have ever seen. And I've got a picture, a pano shot, and you can see probably 100 people. And every one of those people is standing, you can see their backs and they're looking at the sunset. And it was absolutely a stunning sunset and cleared off. And we had 4 or 5 hours of great viewing, then clouded up again. But when you're at when you're 5 hours of good viewing is awesome. All nighters. I've done all nighters up there back when I was in the late '90s and early 2000s. Literally pulled 2 or 3 all nighters in a row because it was so nice and so clear. So,
Ken, I know you're going to go down there with your trailer. You'll have
mhm.
some equipment. You're not going to have a ton
Yep.
of equipment, but you're going to bring representative stuff that we are carrying now. I mean, in the years past, we just had Explore Scientific products, but nowadays we're the distributor for the Americas for Vixen products. I guess you'll have some Vixen and Unistellar, which is also these almost completely all automatic telescopes. But it'll be interesting to see what you get from really super dark skies, because we've been doing testing of unistellar stuff, our telescopes from our suburban backyards here in northwest Arkansas. What do you think you're going to get out there with some darker skies?
I'm a member of a Facebook Unistellar group,
Yeah.
and I think I'm gonna get some pretty darn good pictures, just native out of the system, because it's just not having it. The algorithms aren't having to deal with sky glow, and I am taking one I'm not taking the new Equinox 2, which has an algorithm that's optimized for urban bright sky settings.
Mhm.
I'm taking just a standard Equinox, I think is what it is, and it should do really well with under those kind of dark skies. And the cool thing about the Equinox, Scott, is I can get off an area away from the other observers and have 10 people hook up to it and all see what it's taking pictures of and save those pictures to their phone. And I do a lot of outreach, as you well know. And the first thing people now do, and you didn't see this 10 years ago, but the first thing people do now after they look through the eyepiece is try and take a picture with their smartphone. It's a very difficult thing to do, holding your phone up to an eyepiece. Well, this lets you, with your smartphone, download the Unistellar app, hook up, and take pictures of what the Unistellar is taking pictures of. The Unistellar is frankly, it's a camera. It looks like a telescope. It is a telescope. It's got a built-in camera sensor.
Astrograph is what it is.
It's an astrograph. It doesn't have an eyepiece to it. It's just one of the versions has a
Has
digital
an
screen.
eyepiece, has like a Nikon eyepiece, but it's looking at a digital screen.
Right. It's a digital screen you're looking at it that performs the function of an eyepiece. But I think that outreach part is a really cool aspect of this, that you can share it with people. Also, they launch and they have every month they have scientific campaigns that you can participate using the Unistellar as well. And if you want to do asteroid occultation, You can register to use it, and when you do your work, you upload it, and your data becomes part of the
Yeah, you're
research
doing
that they're
science at
doing.
that point.
You're with a really simple on-off machine and a little bit of playing with the app, you can be contributing real science um, to researchers. Used to be very hard thing to do with a telescope
Yep.
and the
And
data, and then
a lot of the amateur astronomers
right,
did very little science. So I mean, if you're a hardcore amateur astronomer, but you don't have your name on a science paper yet, okay?
yeah,
For the cost of a nice camera, okay,
mm-hmm,
you could have a Unistellar and be part of that network science team.
right,
I think something that kind of stunned me was before we went to NEAF, their network science team had imaged the impact during the DART mission.
right,
And they discovered that the interior of that object was red in color, okay? And they shared that science data live, okay? And that was something that no other science team did. Maybe they could do, but they didn't do. So, you know, I mean, it's remarkable that this little 4-inch telescope can do so much. So it's pretty cool. You guys can check it out when you're at Nebraska Star Party if you're going.
yeah.
There's a couple other comments here. Mike Peoples was talking. He said he said he was there 3 times and they were stuck on the scopes. I think he's referring back to mosquitoes. So bring some off or something like that to keep them off of you. Okay. But he also said that he had the best steak ever and the biggest baked potato. And I was looking at restaurants. He's talking about the little town of Valentine, which you were talking about, you know, making the little tiny light dome, which, by the way, might get tinier because their communities embracing the whole dark sky aspect of this. But I think you probably were at the Peppermill restaurant.
Peppermill, yeah.
In Valentine, and it's got 5 stars and 1.1 thousand reviews. So that's pretty good if you like steak. So
You know, and when you're up there, you know, if it's a short night, you know, it's not a huge. You can make a day trip to Mount Rushmore, to the Badlands. You can float the Niobrara River. Have done that. Been to Mount Rushmore. Been going to try and go to the Badlands one day. This if you know, I've never, you know, go down in the Badlands as opposed to I-90 or I guess it'd be I-80. You know, goes right along the north edge of the South Dakota Badlands. You know, there's some tourism things to do as well there during the day, but the attraction is the night. And in talking to John Scott, I don't know if you've talked to John recently. The registrations have topped 350 people this year.
oh wow,
Yeah, so this is
a lot more than last time.
yeah, it was over 200 last time, but
Right.
and it's a kid friendly event. There's you know 30 to 40 kids registered by their count, and so plenty to do. I've taken my kids up there when they were teenagers, and my youngest one was like 7.
Okay.
He's 21 now, so he's been up there
Did he like
as
it?
well. Oh yeah, you know, I mean, it's hang out, go swimming in the lake,
Yeah.
catch fish. You know, we floated with the older kids, the river. And I will tell you this: the Niobrara River is very, very cold, and if to the point that we had some 13, 14-year-old girls of one of our club members' granddaughters, and it was so cold they were getting hypothermia. They were turning blue, and we had to get them because, you know, I'm not a skinny lad, and I wasn't then. So I'd picked a really big, fluffy, robust tube to float, and I ended up using their tubes and putting them in my tube and Todd Longnecker's tube.
So they could be out of the water.
To get them up out of the water, yes, sir. And otherwise, they literally were getting hypothermia. It was so cold. But a great time, you know. So if I know it's spur of the moment, but if you're sitting here with nothing else to do next week, and you want to, Wednesday can be there.
It's some of the darkest skies in North America.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then pack up and let's go. Go online to Nebraska Star Party, Google it, go online, and they won't turn you down. They have
Nope.
field schools during the day. I'll have some stuff set up, not a lot, but I'm taking, like we said, a Unistellar product. I'm taking a big pair of Vixen binoculars on their cradle and
That's
stand
cool.
and
Yeah.
eyepieces, and I'm taking a FC 100 ED80 and
Okay.
an Exos 100 go-to tracker combo mount that we produce. And
Okay.
I'm going to be doing solar during the day, and I'll be doing some photography with a DSLR as well. So I'm going to have my hands full running the Unistellar and doing DSLR, but not done a lot, but get back into it and do a little bit more and see what I can noodle out of it, and
Sure.
what kind of pictures I can generate with, a lot of good theoretical knowledge, but
If you can get
practical
some
knowledge.
time lapse stuff of the Milky Way going
That's
on,
Yep.
when I went, Greg Bragg was with us, and he got some really nice Milky Way time lapse. So that's the place to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, again, it's just really super incredible.
Chris.
I recommend also, getting a zero. Have you guys ever heard of those zero gravity chairs? I think a lot of you amateur astronomers that are watching know what I'm talking about, but they're kind of the chairs that you just kind of sit down in. It looks like a sort of a lounge chair, but this thing goes all the way back. It's so comfortable. And then you take a pair of binoculars and you sit back, you have your favorite beverage with you, maybe play some music that you like or whatever, and just kind of sit back and chill. But that would be I think the best way to look at the Milky Way, see meteors streaking overhead, and just kind of get to the whole ambiance of it. So
Scott, you're exactly right. Sitting there, okay, if you've never been to a dark sky site before, the first thing you're going to see when it gets dark is where are the constellations at? Because there are so many stars, you can't find the constellation.
lose it. Yeah.
That happened to me the first time I was up there. And I literally just sat there that first night in a chair, just looking up at the sky and drinking it all in. Pair of binoculars to look at stuff. And I finally learned to see, but it's a really weird thing. With light pollution, the constellations are easy to see up until you get so much light pollution you can't see anything. But under standard suburban light, you can see most of the constellations. They're easy. Why?
Sure.
Because they're all the bright lights or bright stars.
That's right.
Well, there's so many stars you can't find the constellations. It's trippy. It's very trippy. And the first night, if you come, just sit there and look up at the sky and drink it all in.
That's right.
And maybe apparently swat mosquitoes, according to other people. But again,
my
wife Natalie did not complain of any mosquitoes last year. So,
and is she usually the one that gets bit?
she's there. She and my daughter and one of my sons, one of my daughters and one of my sons, they step outside and it's like they're covered in them. And I'm sitting there going, I don't know, there's not a single mosquito on me.
Right.
And I guess they exude the right pheromones or something.
I guess so. We're also less than 100 days away from the annular eclipse that's coming up. I know you're going down to Texas. I'm supposed to go down to Texas for this. We have, if you go on our website to explorescientific.com/eclipse, you'll be on our eclipse homepage, and you can see some of the stuff that we're doing. You are welcome to join us down there. We'll be east of San Antonio on a private ranch.
West.
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. And so anyhow, who's on?
It's dark. It's Bortle 2 skies, looking northwest into Bortle 1 skies.
Right.
It's a private ranch. It's dry camping, so you're going to have a trailer, an RV, or sleep in your vehicle. And we strongly encourage people. This is like a 3-day event, and from those of us who went to the last eclipse, we know there's going to be massive traffic jam.
Yeah.
So just stay, and you can't get any darker of a moonless night than the night before and the night after an eclipse. And so it's going to be nice dark skies.
Sure.
Stay and enjoy the dark skies for another night, and then leave the following day so you're not hammered by these huge traffic jams that's going to be San Antonio. So if you think you're going to go to, say, San Antonio and drive somewhere, see the eclipse, and then drive back to the airport and catch a flight in the afternoon, that's not going to happen.
Annular eclipse, maybe not so many people.
Annular, okay. Annular, yes. Total eclipse.
Total eclipse, yeah. It takes all the advice that gets given you, because
and Scott,
experience.
yeah, Scott, we're doing it at the same place too. It's the crossroads of the eclipses, star parties.
That's right.
Because this ranch is within, like, I don't remember, 7 or 8 miles of the center line of the total eclipse, and like half a mile from the annular eclipse. So for the annular, the moon is too far away from the Earth in its orbit, and so it can't cover the entire sun. So the closer you are to the center line, the more perfect the moon is around the sun. Now, in an annular eclipse, you can't look at it naked eye. You always have to have eye protection for it. Unlike a total, once totality happens, you can take your eclipse glasses off and marvel at the beauty of the corona. And your camera is going to have
Yeah, it'll be more than marvel. I mean, it's so hard to put into words what, the effect of a total eclipse will be on you, and so the people that say, well, I'm at 98% coverage, I'll see it get dark. Well, so what?
You don't 98% coverage
is one thing. If it's really physically impossible for you to get to the center line, then okay, enjoy what you can. But seeing a total eclipse, it is life changing. It is absolutely life changing. I think you have several things to say about what it might be like. I could describe a lot of celestial events, or what a galaxy might look like, or a nebula might look like, or a meteor streaking across the sky and all the rest of it. But a total eclipse, that is really going to change you.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
The two examples is the one I've come up with. The change between, even at 98 or 99%, the light is funky, but it's not an eclipse.
No.
And so I equate 98, 99% to being an ice cube you took out of the freezer, right? And set on the table. And 99% is it's been out for 5 minutes. 100% totality is that ice cube has become boiling water. It's that dramatic of a change, and it's instantaneous over just literally 15 or 20 seconds. Yeah. It changes. There's a video we had that I saw of somebody, I think it was Paul and Kathy Anderson. They were up at St. Joseph, Missouri. And somebody was up there, and their wife went along just because, okay, take a trip. Didn't care about astronomy, didn't care about the eclipse, was just there to support her husband. And when the eclipse happens, you can hear her just saying, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, over and over again for 2 minutes and 40 seconds or whatever it was. And as soon as totality was over with, you hear her say, when's the next one?
Exactly.
Okay. That's how dramatically it of an impact it has.
Oh,
and she went from not caring to becoming an eclipse chaser.
Already an eclipse chaser. Yeah. And that's happened. That's not an uncommon thing. So, these eclipses will be running across the United States, also running through the Mexico. The annular, I think, runs through all the Americas, and so, or most of them. And I think that it's something you definitely want to get out and look at. You want to see it. You want to try to get to the center line. I have had friends that have spent many thousands of dollars to go see a total eclipse of the sun. This is going to be something you can drive to. Okay, so
Okay,
just
but
like the 2017 eclipse, just as Kent said, allow time to get there because of traffic, and allow time. Do not try to leave on the day of the eclipse being finished
and
because it's not gonna happen.
so Scott, I just
People are saying he's never seen an eclipse. Can you believe that?
well, he's going to unless he doesn't put forth a little effort.
Mike, you gotta
So
go, dude.
so Scott, I want to tell people this. As a test yesterday,
Yeah.
I searched for hotel rooms in Kerrville, Texas, which is one of the NASA sites.
Okay.
Town of 25,000 people. They're predicting 300,000 people will be there. There
Right.
are no hotel rooms available. I checked probably 50.
Parking spots available.
There's no parking spots available. I checked San Antonio hotels.
Yeah.
There are no hotel rooms available anywhere along the path. Okay. That's what we offer. We offer a secure site that's in the deep into the path of totality. And it's got limited capacity to about 800 people. Okay. So we offer the ability to have, if you didn't plan a year in advance and you decide you want to go, we offer you a way to come that's far cheaper than the hotel rooms. For the total eclipse, 3 people per vehicle, $600. And it's $200 a person for the annular eclipse. Annular eclipse, you're going to be able to find a hotel room anywhere because it's not that big of a deal. But the total eclipse in April, if you haven't gotten your hotel room, you're not going to get a hotel room. So, Scott, looks like you're looking up right now.
Well, I'm looking up right now prices for Airbnbs in San Antonio for around the dates that we talked about, and you're going to watch these things jump. If you haven't already got something, you're not going to our event, you better jump on it because it's going to be very, very tough. When we went to Casper, Wyoming, and we were driving back. Now this is even the day after the eclipse. Okay, we tried to stay at a Motel 6, and this was a Motel 6 that was not even on the center line. Okay, close but not on the center line, and it was still like $600 a night. Okay, so
For a Motel 6.
yeah. Someone is asking me, will I be in Nebraska Star Party? I will not. Regrettably, I can't go, but Kent Marks will be there. So I'll be there in spirit. Okay. So,
And we may do a live conversation as well.
nice.
Yeah,
We'll try.
we'll try to do that. And I'm taking my Starlink, so I'm guaranteed to have good internet service.
Oh, you have Starlink
Yeah, I
now.
got a Starlink now. Yes,
Wow,
I
so
the play.
the RVs, or what did you get?
I got an RV one because I have an RV and we're going to be taking trips, but I want to be able to take it with me. But I had to get it because I live less than a mile outside the city limits of Pea Ridge, Arkansas. My son owns the land next door to me. He has internet service through and gets like 60 megabits a second. Not astounding anymore, but
Well, that's
solid.
pretty good for
It's solid.
Yeah.
There's no internet available for my house site. And all the people around us that are east of me have no internet. There's no internet service available. And so I was going to put up a microwave system from my son's house to where my house is going to be and just leech off of him, except he has a horse barn that's in the way, directly in line. And so I just bit the bullet and did Starlink.
So what does it cost to have a Starlink for your RV?
It's like $140 a month. Not super cheap, but
Cheap and not crazy expensive.
not crazy expensive. And you're paying for my option was I won't say the name of other ones, but I could use a phone as a hotspot,
Yeah.
but that's not really functional.
No.
the two big internet providers or cell phone providers here, AT&T and Verizon, neither one offer high-speed internet over cellular in that area. So, I mean, it was just
It's like $4.60 a day for reasonably fast internet
yeah,
from anywhere, right?
from anywhere I go.
That's
Yeah. In fact, my wife has
and I spend $10 a day at a hotel. So
yeah. My wife spent is a teacher and found out yesterday she has to attend Tuesday night's school board meeting.
yeah,
And she replied back, said to the person that's just setting up a Zoom, and she replied back, "Yeah, we'll have good internet because we're taking our Starlink with us." And the person said, "Says, where are you going?" And so we're going to a place out in the middle of the sticks.
that'll be cool.
It will be cool. So anyway, plan for the eclipse. Don't wait. The longer you wait, the more you're going to pay. And Scott, you know, we heard from people who 3 months before the eclipse had made reservations a year ahead of time
Oh yeah, and then what they do is they cancel your reservation
and offer you
and offer it back to you first for first right of refusal for hundreds of dollars more.
3 or 4 or 5 times more. And we're not going to do that.
Right.
You register for us, that's it.
That's
Now,
the deal.
as it gets closer, the price might go up, but we're not going to. If we sell you a ticket right now at $600 for 3 people in a vehicle, we're not going to raise it. We're not going to cancel and raise it on you. We're going to honor that.
That's
And we have been having questions, Scott, about pets. We can't allow pets. That's just
yeah. We can't get insurance for it, and it is wilderness areas and stuff. So maybe you've taken your pet out to a lot of wilderness areas and stuff like that, but we're going to be pretty firm about no pets. So
yeah.
we don't want a pet to be missing, and we don't want a pet to get hurt, or you have to go and get emergency vet work done in that remote of a place. So that's the deal. Now, if it's you in particular that needs emergency work done, we actually have a helipad on the site, and so like a lot of people that do go and do remote things, you can buy fairly inexpensive life flight insurance, if you feel the need. And so I know that people who do a lot of RVing, the Airstream crowd, okay, they use this kind of insurance quite a bit because they'll go out to some national park or someplace even more remote than a national park, and they want to be able to get out of there and get to a hospital if they have to. So
the cost of insurance like that is way too much until you need it, and then you're glad you paid it because it's far less than what the $30,000 helicopter flight into San Antonio is going to be. That's what it comes down to.
I got insurance. I went to Central America, and I bought insurance for myself to be flown out, okay, to a U.S. hospital in case I needed it. And the cost for that insurance during the time I was there was something, as I remember, about $100.
Yeah, I was going to say $100.
That was peace of mind for me,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be getting a surgery in a third world country, so.
But I mean, insurance companies have actuary tables. They know how often it does or does not happen. And $100, they're making money because it doesn't happen that often. But boy, when it happens, I had a friend, husband of my wife's former principal, had a medical episode in Mexico and had to fly home. And it was, I don't know how much, it's been 20 years ago or more. And I remember at the time being absolutely shocked at how much it cost. It was not pretty.
Oh, it's 5 figures. It's 5 figures.
Oh, yeah, I can't.
I heard about a friend recently that was life flighted out, broken leg or something like that, $48,000 for a short 15-minute flight. So
Oof. So talk about, you're going to a Star Party. We've talked about this before. You need checklists. You need to not forget your medicines. Double check. You can forget your clothes and stop at a Walmart on the way up there and buy socks. But if you forget your medicine, which I did the first time I went to the Winter Star Party, realized that I had left a medication at home,
uh-oh.
and to get prescriptions at the big box retailers pharmacy in Homestead, Florida, I paid full price for those 10 pills, as opposed to insurance price. And it's something I had to have. And so, it stunk, but you checklists and double check your lists. Yeah.
That would have been fixed for nothing with the checklist, right?
Correct. Yeah. And check it off when you put it in your bag, and then check it off. And this is what my wife and I have started doing, checking off a list as we put it into either the truck or the RV, so that we know not only that it was packed, but it was actually loaded up into the vehicle and not left sitting on the driveway or back in the bedroom or whatever. So it's going to be a good time. If you can't make this year, it's a great summertime adventure. Plan for next year. It is a great summertime Star Party. It is pretty far north, so the sun doesn't go down and get dark until pretty darn late. They have meals provided. There's great people. You meet people that you talk over Facebook. Mm-hmm. I've got a friend that I met at one of the first Nebraska Star Parties I went to. Actually, two friends, and we still talk to each other and see on Facebook. It's really allowed us to connect and stay connected with some great friends. Scott, it looks like you're looking at comments. Any comments?
Comments, yeah. Celtic Ravenda, who hasn't been on for a while, it's nice to see you again, he's mentioned, he said, Ken, if you were only talking 140 yards, might be able to engineer around that for you. So I think he was talking about maybe.
He's talking about the internet.
The internet. Yeah. He also mentioned, he says, I have 5 attempts to get rooms in San Antonio, and I haven't heard back on any of them. And that was from 1 year ago. Okay, so it's going to be tough. And then he's saying, would you post a link, because I just joined. I'm former long-range wilderness medicine certified, currently RCAHA certified. I'm still looking for a place to go, even camping for the eclipse. Let me give you that. So it's
have him.
It's easy.
Scott, send him my email.
What's that?
Send him my email.
Okay.
Address, because he's got medical skills.
He's got more medical skills.
Yeah, there could be something. We could work something out there, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
No.
The other thing I'll give a plug, if you are traveling by RV, there is 2 organizations that offer medical emergency plans as a kind of an RV association. One of them is called the FMCA RV Association, and for a $60 membership, they offer coverage programs. This is medical coverage to members worldwide, as long as you are more than 75 miles from home. That's pretty easy to do if you have an RV.
What was that? Say that again, Scott.
The FMCA Assist.
So Frank, Nora, Charles, Alpha.
Mary, Charles, Andy, FMCA. The other one is Good Sam. And Good Sam costs less per year. It's $45 a year, or as the time of this post. And they include emergency medical transportation and return home after treatment for you, your spouse, and your RV. So if you have to just abandon your RV in the middle of nowhere, life fly it out of the place, your significant other is with you, they're taking care of them, they're taking care of you, they're flying you home. and they're getting your RV home. You can't beat that with a stick. That's pretty good.
Uh, Scott,
You
anything
haven't
else we
done
want to
that,
talk
have
about?
you?
No, I haven't. I hadn't even thought about it, but I'm certainly,
Yeah, you should think about that.
yeah, I'm a member of Good Sam's.
Well, that's good. Make sure you're paid up. So,
I am, but I'm making sure I have Good Sam's
oh, they
health
have
insurance.
levels of membership too. That's true. But you want to
Yeah.
make sure that you got that.
I knew they offered a lot of roadside assistance and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's a
Travel assist, emergency medical travel assist,
yeah.
Good Sam's. Standard is $45 a year for individuals, couples, and families. The premier plan for extended family and pets is $90 per year.
Still, $90. That's a good deal. That is a good deal. So,
Yep.
anyways, we will be back on talking about star parties because there's a lot of them coming up. Okay, still you've got star parties that range from July out through about October. I think the Okie-Tex star parties this October. Of course, the annular eclipse is in October, so you're going to want to be prepared. If you go to explorescientific.com and go into the search bar and just type in how to prepare for a star party, we wrote a whole article about this, and Kent and I and one or two other people just did a brain dump of every possible thing you should check before you go, and what you should have, and because there's a lot to it. And I've done a lot of star parties, and I've seen people make all kinds of mistakes, and I have made all kinds of mistakes myself. So, but I remember in particular one star party out in the desert, and a guy got lost and got dehydrated, and we found him passed out in his car. Okay, had we not driven by that guy and saw him and got him revived, I think he would have died. So don't go alone. It's like you're going diving. Don't dive alone. Get a dive buddy. Get a stargazing buddy to go with you, or you got your wife, you got your husband, whatever.
And don't overestimate your physical abilities.
Yeah.
I'm getting older, and I have to consciously realize that I'm not 22 and can backpack 14 miles with an 80-pound backpack every day. Heard a story yesterday on NPR about a family, a couple and their young child had hiked 2.5 miles down to a river. It's a very steep hike down, and left early in the morning. It was out in the desert. Left early in the morning, got to be like 10:30, 11. They started the hike back out, and they never made it. They could have theoretically hiked back down to the river and at least had water there. I mean, drinking river water is better than dying. And but it was like a 2.5 mile hike up this steep hill and tough going, and none of them made it. So we have to, you have to be conscious and think about those things.
Yeah. Be safe. But we want you to get out there and enjoy nature and enjoy the Milky Way and really experience what dark skies are all about. Going to these big star parties like the Nebraska Star Party, you've got lots of help out there. And so if there's going to be any issues, there's going to be somebody there to help you. And I think they even have like some, medical ability there on site. We plan to do so at the eclipse, the crossroads of the eclipse star parties as well. So
we might as well tell people where it's at roughly, Scott. I mean, we're 100 days away from the annular eclipse. It's about 20 miles north of Leakey, Texas. Now, I say Leakey, but it's spelled Leakey, 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 Texas. but it's not pronounced Leaky, Texas. It's pronounced Lakey, Texas.
Lakey, yeah.
Lakey. It's up in Texas Hill Country. It's up on top of the ridge. You
Maybe they
know,
do those kinds of things to find out if you're a local or not.
probably. So you'll if you say Lakey, they'll at least know you know what you're talking, how to pronounce it right. And Scott, you've been out there to the site.
Yep.
It's rustic. It's a bull pasture.
Yeah.
They're gonna pull the bulls out.
It's pretty.
It's on a runway.
Mhm.
It's an old runway. It's not used anymore, so it's long and narrow.
It's not a concrete runway.
Nope.
Was
It's
a
a
private airplane. A rancher used to fly in and out of there all the time. In fact, the family that owns it, I guess, um, you know, it's still owned by the family. So
correct. And so, there's rocks that they chunked out of the way and brush they cut down to make this runway. They used to land a Cessna 172 on it. So, it's doable. We can get a lot of RVs and tent sites packed in there. Y'all come. It's going to be fun. We're planning on having things to do during the day, some speakers and things like that as the work up to it. So the total eclipse is going to be, I think as we get closer, people start realizing there's no hotel rooms, that it'll start getting booked up.
yeah,
But
our site will also get filled up.
yeah.
I'm certain. So
So why come to Texas? The eclipse, we could literally drive 2 hours and be on the center line here in Arkansas. I mean, literally, we're 2 hours from the center line on Interstate 40. But the farther north you go, the better chance of clouds you get. And the farther south you go, the better chance of clear skies you get statistically.
yeah,
So that's why we chose to go down there. And it's cool that we get to be in one spot and see 2 eclipses. That's pretty cool as well. And we'll have some T-shirts you can order online, print on order, and have the T-shirts for the Crossroads of the Eclipses Star Parties. And y'all come. It'll be fun meeting everybody. That's why I enjoy going to these events, is meeting so many people that I see them on Facebook and then meet them in person. It's very, very cool.
oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah, there's nothing that quite replaces seeing people in person. So
Yeah. Human contact is a great thing.
yeah,
Even post-COVID, it's still a great thing.
right. Preparing for a star party. Here we go. So I've got a link I'm going to put in here for preparing for a star party. Just like, maybe you've been to a zillion star parties yourself, but it's like when I fly, the flight attendant goes through the motions of talking about safety. They open and close the seat belt, they tell you the safety card and all the rest of it. And almost no one pays attention to them, okay? They're still talking or sending texts or whatever. But they say that actually during a real emergency, that the people that did pay attention have a 50% better chance of surviving it than those that don't. Okay, so it won't hurt you to read this blog that I'm posting right now. And what else? We want to put up the link for the eclipse, which I'll do again. And if all of you guys that are going to do photography of the eclipse, practice now. You can practice tracking the sun, doing setting up your exposures for when your filter's on, that kind of thing, and get your gear, everything that you need now. Okay, don't wait. If you wait 6 weeks, 2 months before an eclipse to get stuff, it's going to be really tough to find it. So
I raised my hand. I did that basically in 2017. I'm going to have a system down, and I want to be able to enjoy it.
yeah,
That's one thing that people have talked about. They get so focused on their equipment that they miss just looking up and relaxing and going, oh my gosh, look at that. So you got to figure out a way to not do that. right?
Yeah. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, and for you guys that are listening in on live chat there, that's great. We are finishing up some major projects here at Explore Scientific, but we've got Global Star Party will be back online this month, which we're happy to do that, and also. We've got some other things that are coming up, and you're going to have to watch. I'm not trying to tease you into the Explore Scientific website, but watch the explorescientific.com website over this week. You're going to see some stuff. So, anyhow, I think that's it. Is there any last words of wisdom here?
Get outside and look at the stars. Go where people are. Take your telescope. It doesn't matter if it's light polluted. If you've got a moon up, show people the moon with your telescope. You don't have to know what the names of the craters are. You just have to be able to point the telescope in the right direction. Share this hobby with people around us. You don't have to have permission to go down to the square or some festival. Just set your telescope up and do it. Nobody's going to tell you to pack it up. Go out and share this hobby with other people.
All right, thanks, Ken. And thanks to all you guys out there, and we'll be back live soon, okay?
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.